Hi, so welcome to our interview today. Let's start off by talking about yourself.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Quynh. I'm from Vietnam. I'm 23 years old and right now I'm doing Master of Property at University of Melbourne.
So, the first question, how long have you been living in Australia?
I've been here for almost 2 years now.
Did you face any difficulties or culture shock at first when you arrived in Australia?
Not so much because I already lived abroad for the past 5 years. So prior to Australia, I did have my bachelor in Finland. So that's when the cultural shock was experienced most significantly because if you know, Finland and Vietnam has the same size, but then Vietnam we have over 90 millions of population, whereas Finland they only have 5 millions. So just the chance that you get to see people are much less. So that's something I have to adapt to.
Okay, so seems like you have known Australia for a bit, and
Yeah.
can you tell me about like the details that you know about Australia before you arrive in Melbourne?
I know that it runs on different politics system than us. So Australia would be democratic, where Vietnam we're under communism, and also Australia is quite close to us. It's only 8-hour flight, and we have relatively similar climate conditions, which is an advantage to me. So it's not something that I have to adapt to too much.
Okay, so now, as we all know, you're from Vietnam.
Yep.
I would like you to describe the difference in culture you notice in Australia and Vietnam.
I would separate this answer into two major parts. So I would talk on an individual level and then on a collective level, like as a group or a society. So I do notice there are big difference when it comes to individual level. People in Australia or Australian I feel like there's more freedom to express their opinion, express themselves as who they are, have free speech over a lot of important issues like politics or gender equality, or even people from the LGBT community. I feel like they do have more freedom to be themselves without fear of judgment. Whereas people in Vietnam, they're obviously less freedom to talk about such sensitive subjects. People are maybe more fear of what other people might think when they're too expressive, or even in politics sense, we sometimes we're not allowed to, have an opinion on our leaders, for example. But on a collective level, I feel like Vietnamese society, we are more considerate and caring over our brother and sister around. Like, that's the part I like about my culture. Whereas Australian, they're more attentive to their own business, but the good side of it is also they don't really mind of other people's business, as in they don't really care or have a judgment about what you're doing with your life and stuff.
Yep. Okay, so how do you adapt to current culture from your original culture, or have you adapted to the host country culture yet?
I think I have, just thanks to the very long time I live abroad, and mostly from complete different culture than mine. It was a big learning curve at the beginning, but I think it just takes time.
So, after practicing Australian culture, which one do you prefer more? Which one do you enjoy more?
I think so far I do enjoy the culture here in the Western society, just because I've been living in Vietnam for a long time and kind of be used to the fact that I kind of have to care about people's judgment, what other people say, you know, other people in the big family and all that things. So now I do feel more free to express myself and just pay attention to my own happiness and my own personal plan instead of trying to do things to impress people or do something just because everybody else doing the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
And last question. What are the pieces of advice you can give to the people that just arrived in Melbourne, Australia?
I can give you 3 advice. The first one is be open-minded. So just open to differences without like pre-perception. So that's where you can take in the cultural differences easier. And the second piece, that to know that there's going to be a big learning curve when you first come here. So things might get really rough. You know, the first couple of months you just arrived in Australia, because the way of life can be very different from how you used to. But know that, you know, it get better by time, and you get used to, and you make new friends, and it's all gonna help you to ease in better. And I think the third one, which also very important, is to be yourself, to be comfortable with who you are. Don't feel like there's a pressure that you have to change who you are, what makes you comfortable in order to be fit in with the new society. But like embrace the difference, but then embrace yourself as well.
Thank you for the advice you gave. Hope to see you soon.
Okay, goodbye.